Hello friends, today I'm going to do you a little learning about cellular respiration. Now what is cellular respiration? It's the process that allows cells to make ATP from glucose.
What is ATP?
Well, you see, it stands for adenine triphosphate. It holds energy, and when you break them, it releases energy. So, this is the equation for cellular respiration. Now, this would be your glucose. And you get that from like eating and stuff. This is your oxygen that you breathe in, and that turns into CO2, some H2O, and ATP. Now, who needs cellular respiration? We do. Plants and animals use cellular respiration. And there's some steps to cellular respiration. You got glycolysis, the citric acid, also called the Krebs cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation. So let's start with glycolysis. This happens in the cytoplasm, and it doesn't need oxygen, which is pretty nice. Now here, you would break down your glucose and convert it into an easier form called pyruvates. And during this thing, we have reactants and products. Reactants are what you put in, and products is the output. Like if it was a gumball machine, you would put in a coin, your reactants, and what would come out would be, a gumball. And so here we have a glucose, NAD+, and 2 ATPs. And what is produced is 2 pyruvates, 2 NADHs, and 2 ATPs. Now, what are NADHs? Well, we'll get to that. So the next step is the citric acid cycle, also called the Krebs cycle. This happens in the mitochondria. And here we have our pyruvates that we made, and these get oxidized into something called acetyl-CoA. Now, what also happens is something called chemical grooming, and CO2 is also produced. Oh, look, CO2 in our equation. So you don't really want to be acetyl-CoA, because that gets harvested and broken down into our outputs, our products, which is 2 ATP, 6 NADHs, and 2 FADH2s. Now, we can talk about these guys now. What are they? They're electron carriers, and they're helpful for the next step, oxidation phosphorylation. Now, this thing is called the electron transport chain. We have something called electron acceptors, and NADH and FADHs carry enzymes to these acceptors. And here these acceptors take the electrons and turn them into hydrogen ions. Now these hydrogen ions, they want to spread out. They don't like being all together here. So they go down the gradient into this ATP synthase enzyme in a process called chemiosmosis. And they go into it until it's kind of like they power the ATP synthase. And it acts like a turbine and combines phosphates and ADPs together to make ATPs. And you get a lot of ATPs from this. But also, in your electron chain, the last acceptor is an oxygen atom. And when you add hydrogen ions with this, it also produces some H2O. Ooh, that's pretty cool. So in total, from cellular respiration, you get 2 net ATPs from glycolysis, 2 from the Krebs cycle, and like a whole bunch from oxidation phosphorylation, like 32 to 34. Yep, that is cellular respiration.